Today we're going to draw a very simple gangster using our usual equipment, a red, a blue and a graphite pencil. We're going to be using the blue and the red pencil to actually draft out our grid and flesh out the body shapes, and obviously the graphite will then be cleaning up. To start with, I'm going to, on my A4 piece of paper, I'm just going to put a very approximate centre line. Put a very approximate base line in. Very approximate top line. I'm going to be drawing the character within the confines roughly of these two lines here. I'm then going to split it up into around about 3 sections. Very roughly. 1, 2, 3 sections. This top section, I'm going to split that in half very roughly. I'm going to then split this little section in half and this section roughly in half, making this first section into 4 sections, into quarters. With my red pencil, I'm going to start from this top line to this first section line, and I'm going to go very slightly below this, just below it, a nice sort of oval shape. It doesn't have to be exactly to mine, it doesn't have to be exact at all. We're designing at the moment, we're in the design process. Okay, that's going to be his head. This first line here is going to be his shoulder height, and from there down to this section here, we're now going to draw a larger shape which sort of resembles more of a circular type shape. You can see how, you know, we work these shapes together. You know, you're not going to get it first time. You know, the more you circle and go around in circles, and you know, you're feeling the shapes. Okay, so very roughly, this is going to be the head and this is going to be the body shape. I'm going to, just for a reference point for all of us, put in his legs and where his feet are going to be. Very quirky character. Very serious, but he's very quirky, and that's obviously going to be the baseline there, what he's going to be standing on. Now with the blue pencil, I'm going to now start working some furniture in. This line here is going to be what will turn out to be the brim of his hat. These are going to be roughly where his eyes are going to be. These could be eyes, these could be sunglasses, you know, you could, as I say, we're just planning at the moment. These are the eyes. Round about between these two markers here, this is going to be round about his nose. Got this kind of very flat nose. He's a gangster. Been round the block a bit. A couple of pretty strong jowls. And from the brim of his hat to the edge, you know, the edge of his hat to his eyes, I'm going to angularize his face a little bit now, and he's going to be a bit of a chubby little guy. These are his eyes looking straight at you. And this isn't going to be his mouth, in case you thought that. His mouth is going to be actually under that nose. It's going to just disappear under that nose. And round about here is going to be his like double chin. He's very serious, this character, although he's got these quirky little ears that tend to fold down under his hat, which gives him that kind of funny, kind of cartoony feel. You want to take him seriously, but you can't quite take him seriously. Between this line, which is the beginning of the second section, split that roundabout in half. Between those two lines, this is going to be where his raincoat or his jacket actually meets. He's going to have a shirt, and what's going to turn out to be a white tie. I'm going to bring the line of his, where his coat overlaps, we're going to just run parallel with that centre line and run his coat down to about, round about here, just about yay far under this bottom line, and run a straight line across here. And then from the shoulders, we're running the coat down to meet that line there and there. Then we can actually run the outside of his coat, the first arm of his coat, to where roughly our first section, our section line is here, and finish the cuff there. So we're pretty much using most of the width of this piece of A4 paper. One finger, keep it simple today, just have 3 fingers indicated there on the hand, and they're not really doing anything, they're just hiding behind that coat. 2 buttons with, just give them a couple of little pulls, and these are where the lapels would be. And all in all, we can see how this character is gradually taking shape. I'm going to put the legs in. In the 20s, we're going to have this as an older style gangster. In the 20s, they had these things, these shoe decorations called spats, which were like these lovely white coverings on shoes that were very, very popular, and with all sorts of people, the upper class, the middle class. And it's just a little bit more decoration for the shoe on that baseline. Coming back to the top, as I said, this is going to be a hat, so from the edge of that line to this circular line, this is going to be the brim of the hat. These are going to be the sort of the tucked up bits of the hat, and you can make this hat as big or as small as you want, as quirky. I'm going to make this hat just come above this line to about there, and that's his hat. And just this top line here forms where the hat band would be. I'm going to put a couple of decorative cuffs on his coat just to make it look a little bit more interesting. So there we have the general makeup of our gangster. Now we're going to go in for the clean up, and we're going to use the graphite pencil now. We've got all of our drafting worked out, so it should be pretty much plain sailing all the way through this. Now I'm going from the top to the bottom. There's the brim of his hat, the flick up on the side of his hat, and you'll see as we start to put the graphite pencil on now how these red and blue drafting lines tend to disappear a little bit more so into the background. Here's the rim of his hat, there's the hat band. This guy's a very smart guy. Put the ears in, these little folded down ears under his hat. These very, very sinister eyes. A little bit of a weathered line there. This guy's been around the block a bit, as we said. And the nose, this lovely flat nose. Drop shadow to accentuate that it's overhanging his chin. Jowls. and this mouth that slightly opened at the corners, folds under that nose and disappears into the jowls. Little double chin with a little shadow on there again. There's the definitive chin. And I'm going to put a little, just for a little extra effect, just put a little shadow on the top of his ears. When we put his eyes in, leave a little white highlight, makes the eyes glint a little bit, but I'm going to still put a little shadow over the whites of his eyes to accentuate that hat is overhanging his face. First lapel, second lapel. Once again, for effect, these nice little drop shadows, like this guy is so backlit. Well, not so much backlit, he's lit everywhere, he's throwing shadows off all over the place. There's one there from that lapel. Shadows are so important in regards of giving your drawings impact. On the shirt, I'm going to have him with a black shirt, so I'm going to draw two lines here where that collar is. Why? Because he's going to have a white tie on, and I want, when I draw this black shirt in, when I colour this black shirt in, I want to sort of emphasise the edges of the collar. And there you go. We've got an indication that that's where the collar is. Bring this line down here. Throw these lovely big buttons in with a shadow once again. A couple of tugs on the coat. Let's come down with this outside of this arm. There's the jacket. All the way over here. Let's make the other side. Decorative cuff. Lovely little holding shadow again. And a shadow over the fingers to indicate the cuff is overlapping them as well. Decorative little cuff. Shadow. That side of the arm. Inside of the coat. Got a shadow over the fingers. The trousers, they're going to be black, like the shirt. I'm going to put this lovely holding shadow under his feet. Always good to have this really bold shadow. Make them look like they're standing on something seriously. One trouser leg. The other trouser leg up to the spat, and the spats are now going to be that lovely feature on that shoe. Just raise that line a little bit because they had the bottom of the shoe showing. Lovely little shiny highlights on the shoes. Oh, they're really lovely and polished. And as you can see, these red and blue lines are now sort of fading and merging into the background, and our character and his graphite and his glory is shining through them. Thanks very much for watching today. There you have Gangster.